Want to know the 3 secrets to make any man fall deeply in love with you? I'm not talking about just attached or just interested. I'm talking about literal love. And warning, a lot of people, they get this completely wrong because they think men and women fall in love the same way, but they don't. And that's how feelings get hurt. Today, I'm breaking down the 3 stages of how men actually fall in love and why rushing through these different stages can make him lose interest and go completely ghost. So warning, this is going to change the way you view men and female love. So according to Dr. Helen Fisher, a renowned biological anthropologist, love happens in 3 distinct phases. And men, they move through these slightly different than women do. So let's talk about stage number 1. Let me clear my board. And if you guys are just listening, I will try to speak through all these points. So stage 1 is lust. Stage 1 is lust. It's getting hot and heavy in here. I think a lot of people appreciate my drawings and beautiful singing voice. Everyone says that in the comments. The first stage is lust, and lust is not the same as love. I think most people know that. Lust is driven by hormones, testosterone in men, estrogen in women. And it's that immediate physical attraction that like, oh, I want this person. Oh, I want to jump all over him. And when you see someone, think, dang, I really want to be with that person. That's the lust. It's temporary. It's that like gratification, that intimate gratification. It's that natural instinct to find potential partners. So it's like someone who is attractive, like attractive on a primal level. So this is like the physical desire. Yeah, but dabba. And here's what you need to know. A lot of men, they never really move past this stage. They feel lust, they act on it, and then they go ghost. You know them. You've seen it. Unfortunately, it happens a lot. And this is why we often talk on my videos about extending the intimacy timeline. So we can kind of weed out some of these time wasters. There's many other methods to do this, but this is one of the most surefire ones. And this is why getting intimate too early, it can backfire. You think physical intimacy, sometimes it creates this emotional connection. It does. Much of the time, because there are different hormones released for guys versus women on that intimate moment. I had to be kind of guarded in the way I speak about this because YouTube don't be liking certain words. So for men, it does not create that same level of bond. It still bonds them, but it doesn't create that same level of bond. And this is why you can kind of see, like, you can be like, wait, that meant so much to me. Why did it mean very little to him? Guys just focus differently on that. Let's get into stage 2 after we talked about the lust. We talked about lusting. Let's talk about stage 2 is attraction. And you might be like, what? Attraction? And this is the obsession phase. So stage 2 is attraction, and it's known as romantic love. And this is when the focus and energy is more directed towards one person, you. He thinks about you constantly. He craves your company. He can't get you out of his head. You have those racing thoughts where you're like, dang, I wonder what she's up to. This stage is driven by 3 separate chemicals. We got dopamine, neuropinephrine, which I can never fully say. I'm just going to write down serotonin, and there's something about that word, neuropinephrine, that's just so hard for me to pronounce. And scientists compare this stage to legitimate addiction because it activates the same reward centers in our brain. And that's why when you go through a breakup, aside from just their absence, it feels like, dang, I feel sad because you literally have this like chemical cocktail ripped out. And this stage will last from 6 months to actually some years. And this is why, they say like the honeymoon phase. It's intense, it's powerful, but it's ultimately not sustainable for the long term. So if a man is in this stage with you, you'll know it. He'll be texting you constantly. He's planning your future, unable to focus on many other things. And stage 3 is really this attachment phase. Attachment. And this is not anxious attachment. That's a different thing. Attachment. And this is the real love. This is the long-lasting love that I think most of my listeners will be out to get. Because attachment equals long-term love. That honeymoon phase, like, it's great. We love it. Oh my goodness. It feels good. But it's not the long-lasting love like my parents have been married for 20 plus years. Like that's a little different. So stage 3 is attraction. And this is where real lasting love happens. This is about in the 2 to 4 year range, according to her. According to the doctor, and that initial infatuation starts to fade. But something beautiful happens. 2 hormones, oxytocin and vasopressin. Man, I'm so not good with saying these hormone names. Oxytocin and vasopressin create a sense of attachment and nurture your bond. And this stage, this is about building a life together. This is the life stage. This is the life stage. And this is raising a family. This is finding contentment in one another's presence. This is healthy attachment, not codependency. This is choosing to love someone even when all those butterflies are gone. we have to say yes to love every single day. And not every relationship follows this exact progression. Some men skip stages, some never make it past love, some go straight to attachment. In arranged marriages, you kind of see love develops over time. So let's talk a little bit about, now that we understand the different stages, let's go into kind of the male brain and how they perceive love. Male brain love. The male brain is in love. And the guy's brain, it works a little bit differently. Here's something that may surprise you. Men actually say I love you faster than women. And we have the studies to back this up. But you might be wondering why, or hey, why did I never get that treatment? In the beginning, men have a lot fewer criteria for falling in love. Beauty, chemistry, vibe. That could be enough for him to feel head over heels in love with you. And his brain is flooded with dopamine, testosterone, and suddenly he's convinced, oh, I found the one. But here's the catch. That's attraction love, not lasting love. Early on, he's mostly still in that lust/infatuation stage, which feels intense, but it doesn't guarantee long lasting bonding. And real sustainable love, it comes later with these different chemicals, oxytocin, vasopressin, and that kicks in to create that deep attachment. And that's where compatibility, trust, and shared values moves. So this is why I say, men, yes, they fall harder, they fall faster, but the kind of love that it creates, it's that different love. It's that stage 1 or stage 2, that kind you can't fully build a life on. That attachment love, that takes longer to develop and deeper connection. So you may say I love you early, and you got to watch out for the love bombers, but that ultimate love that you want is a little bit later down the line. So let's talk about the physical intimacy trap, because this is a thing that a lot of people, before they start working with us, it really backfires on them. Because it's a common misconception that men fall in love through physical intimacy. And maybe you've seen this in your own life, and you know that this is actually not the case. Actually, some men, they call this, it's a kind of a crude term, but they call it post-nut clarity. It's like they were, did the intimate part, and they're like, whoa, where am I? That was, I feel gross. And then they leave. Now, some men, they do really lose interest if the intimacy happens too quickly. And this is something called the Coolidge effect. It's when men kind of lose interest in mating with the same female over and over again, but show increased interest in new females. So this is kind of like guys kind of really like increased levels of novelty. Novelty is just a fancy word for saying like they like variety. So this is why, oftentimes it behooves you to like change up your hairstyle, continue to do different hobbies and activities to continuously have him chasing you. And this isn't every single case, right? But men still fall in love with women that they become intimate early on with, but it is a little less likely based off the studies. It's because a lot of times we're skipping these emotional building stages where you satisfy his lust without creating deeper connection. And it's a bit like swallowing food without chewing. You can't fully appreciate the taste. So by extending the intimacy timeline, we get rid of a lot of time wasters, and we also increase your perceived scarcity, and scarcity increases perceived value. It's like a handbag, right? I know all this stuff sounds wildly reductive, but it just works, right? I don't make the rules, I just explain them to you. And the same guy that can fall fast can also pull away. And it's because if intimacy happens too soon, it creates a clash. Because in one thing, he's feeling like, man, that was amazing, I like her. On the other hand, he has this nagging voice in his head that says, man, that happened kind of quick with me. How many other people has that happened with? I know that sounds disgusting. Again, I do not make the rules, I just explain them to you. And that doubt doesn't necessarily come from logic, his logical brain. It comes from instinct, it comes from ego. And when combined with the fact that lust was satisfied well before attraction or any kind of bonding could take place, it makes him take a step back and be like, is this the person I want to share the rest of my life with? And it's not that he didn't enjoy being with you. He did. But it's about this pacing that his brain often files away for like, oh, she was short-term fun versus long-term potential. So the solution, it's not manipulation, it's just pacing. So when you extend the intimacy timeline, you give him an opportunity to let that emotional connection build. And when that happens, attraction transforms more into attachment and the kind of love that can endure. Now I have to warn you, and you guys have all seen this person, is the secure man versus the chaser. Because something's very important is to never make a man chase you through games and manipulation. A secure man, he is going to express interest. He's going to really be pushing for the interaction. But if you start playing hard to get, like too hard to get, of course, keep up your own life, he'll direct his attention elsewhere. Because guys, they like high perceived challenge, but they do not like somebody that they feel they can never get, right? It almost has to be slightly within reach, because otherwise he won't try. So men who chase intensely often are people that love the pursuit. They are like the forever player. And once they have you, they're going to need to chase somebody else. So you want a guy that's going to consistently show interest. And that person that's like burning super hot right from the very beginning, that's typically love bombing. If they're taking you on a 6-hour date and then seeing you tomorrow and doing this and doing that, and then they pull back after intimacy, you experience the love bombing. So let's talk about the timeline reality. Real love, it doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't even happen in a week, usually not even a month. The attraction phase can last for 6 months to 2 years. Attachment develops after years of being together. So instead of trying to force love to happen super fast, we just want to understand the biology and what's going on. So some red flags you can look out for. You want to see if a guy is repeatedly stuck in the lust phase. Is he constantly contacting you at night? Are the conversations just about your physical body? So if you say you're into yoga and it's like, flexible, huh? And this is over text, this is before you guys met, you can largely see where this guy's got his head at. And he doesn't ask you about your goals, your ambitions, your dreams. He cancels plans to hang out at his place, to Netflix and chill, right? That's a guy that is really only after physical intimacy, and you want to root out these lustful guys, because a lustful person, like, you might think, oh man, they're so lusty, they love me, they lust, but oftentimes lustful guys, they're lustful for everyone, and they will really ruin a lot of good things just from their lust. So to make a man move past this lust stage to this attraction stage, so we're going to take them from lust to attraction to attachment. This is very important. Attraction. So as I'm writing, you want to take physical intimacy slow. You want to share your thoughts, your dreams, your values. Do activities that create emotional bonding. Show them your personality beyond just the physical, and give them time to miss you between interactions. I think this culture of like text 24/7 is not good. Text every few hours, also not great, but like, we want to be in contact with them, but like, give them space to miss us. And this is why it's so important to maintain your own life when you're in a relationship. Don't just like completely give up book club, completely give up yoga, completely give up everything you had going on, because that's a guy that's like eventually going to look at you and be like, I'm spending too much time. Distance truly does make the heart grow fonder. So the goal is to become someone he can't imagine his life without, because guys, they do not commit to women they just like. They commit to women that they cannot literally see their life without. They're like, dang, I gotta scoop her up because somebody else will. So men fall in love through a process, not a moment. Understanding this process is going to give you a ton of power. So don't try to shortcut these stages. Don't assume physical chemistry is going to equal emotional connection. Don't just fall for the lust is love. And if you want to make a man fall deeply in love with you with male psychology, work with it, work with his natural impulses, then against it. Build emotional connection first, let attraction develop naturally, and give time for attachment to form. I love you. Ciao.